Persecution, and fiery death. Did they succeed at turning lead into gold? Did they discover the secret of eternal life?
At the beginning of the 21st century, the Umbrella Corporation had become the largest commercial entity in the United States.
Before we unlock the future, we must find the keys to the past.
We all want to return to the way things were before COVID-19. But there's one area where I hope we never go back: our complacency about pandemics.
9 out of every 10 homes contain its products. Its political and financial influence is felt everywhere.
Nearly 2,000 years ago, a shadowy group called alchemists embarked on a mysterious, dangerous quest.
Commitment, honesty, integrity, these are the core values that create the foundation for Umbrella.
Can get ahead of infectious disease outbreaks. By the next pandemic, I believe we can have what I call mega testing diagnostic platforms.
In public, it is the world's leading supplier of computer technology, medical products, and healthcare.
In primitive laboratories, they risked their lives trying to make gold.
It's this foundation that will continue to build a brighter future for all of us.
They can be deployed quickly, cost very little, and test 20% of the entire population every week.
Unknown even to its own employees, its massive profits are generated by military technology, genetic experimentation, and viral weaponry.
They also searched for divine wisdom and the secret of immortality.
We also want to get treatments out far faster next time. One of the most promising is monoclonal antibodies. These manufactured antibodies grab onto the virus and disable it, just like your immune system, and can reduce death rates by as much as 80%.
The quest of the alchemist is the quest for perfection.
I also think that we'll develop new vaccines quickly, in large part due to this new mRNA platform. mRNA will become faster to develop, easier to store, and lower cost. That's a huge breakthrough.
Mysteries abound in alchemy's dark history. Do the great cathedrals of Europe display its mystical symbols?
That's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy.
At its core, Agenda 21 is about control. Control of the land, natural resources, and entire populations.
Did a brilliant Renaissance alchemist create the first life in a test tube?
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero.
It seems to control the air by regulation of carbon emissions, the ground by sustainable development, and the sea through environmental regulations.
This is the agenda for the 21st century, hence its name. These are from its own documents of various kinds. Agenda 21 involves this: an end to national sovereignty, state planning and management of all land resources, ecosystems, deserts, forests, mountains, oceans and fresh water, agriculture, rural development, biotechnology, and ensuring equity, i.e. equal slavery.
Was Sir Isaac Newton, one of history's greatest minds, driven mad by his secret obsession with alchemy?
Meanwhile, we're seeing different reactions to the vaccine. A lot of people talking about this one. Take a look. One nurse in Tennessee fainted on a live broadcast after getting the Pfizer shot.
And I promised you an answer. Soon after the T-virus was released, a secret file was uploaded to my data stream.
Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero.
And in Orange County, an X-ray technician has died after getting his second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. According to the OC Register, 60-year-old Tim Cook had an adverse reaction within just hours of getting that second shot, and he died within a matter of days.
Officially stated, Agenda 21 is a comprehensive plan of action to be taken globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations system, governments, and major groups in every area in which human impacts on the environment.
20th century science may have proved the alchemist's ancient claims.
Paulette Brown is tracking the latest vaccine news. Unfortunately, the headlines around vaccines, seniors, and safety can be dizzying.
My fear is to be really sick and not being able to survive this vaccine.
Fear sparked by reports that a handful of seniors in Norway died after receiving a COVID-19 vaccine.
It was a recording of a meeting of the Umbrella High Command, dated 17 months before the viral outbreak occurred.
Testing shows shots of Pfizer and Moderna are waking up two branches of the immune system. Not just antibodies, but also T cells to help fight this coronavirus and remember it for next time.
Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look.
We are taking a look this morning at the side effects of the coronavirus vaccines. So far, at least 154 Utahns have experienced bad reactions after receiving the vaccine.
That includes 4 people who died after they got the shot.
Because being human will always have an impact on the environment, Agenda 21 paves the way for extraordinary UN control.
But they say federal health leaders say just because someone died shortly after receiving a vaccine doesn't mean the vaccine caused their death.
People told what their job will be. Major restrictions on movement. Creation of human settlement zones. Get to them as we go along. Mass resettlement of people who are forced to vacate land where they currently live. Dumbing down education. Mass global depopulation in pursuit of all of the above.
Modern physicists have, of course, succeeded in transmuting minute quantities of base metals into gold.
A national panel to monitor adverse effects following immunization is set to re-examine the cause of deaths reported from individuals who passed away soon after taking the COVID-19 shots.
We're here today not just to talk about the future of this company. We're here to talk about its destiny. We're here to talk about the end of the world. We stand on the brink of Armageddon, diseases for which we have no cure.
So far, 10 people have died in India within 1 to 5 days after getting the jabs, and these deaths have been reported from Karnataka, UP, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Haryana and Odisha after over 28 lakh vaccination across the country so far.
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people.
The CDC has cited several side effects to the vaccine.
When you boil it down, there are 9 basic tenets of Agenda 21. Move citizens off private land and into urban housing. Create vast wilderness spaces inhabited by large carnivores. Eliminate cars and create walkable cities.
But a Virginia woman says she believes her mother, who had multiple underlying health conditions, died as a result of the vaccine. Lisa Jones, who lives in Gloucester, says her 58-year-old mother died less than an hour after receiving the Pfizer vaccine.
This is a map of America as desired and projected by the Biosphere Programs and World Heritage Program. And whenever you see diversity or sustainability or Agenda 21, they're just connecting interchangeable terms. So the red on this map of America is designed to be core reserves and corridors with little to no human use. Can you imagine the numbers of people to be removed to make that possible?
Did the masters of alchemy possess secret wisdom? What were they really seeking?
Fundamentalist states who call for our destruction, nuclear powers over which we have no control. And even if we navigate these dangerous waters, we face other, even more inevitable threats.
That's headed up to about 9 billion.
That was just something that ripped my heart out all over again, because when something like this happens unexpectedly, you want answers. You want to uncover everything.
Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services.
3 more post-vaccination deaths reported, all of them from AstraZeneca's. Authorities are following up with meticulous investigations.
Was alchemy a quest for gold or a search for God?
Global warming will melt the polar ice caps within 80 years, flooding 90% of all habitable areas on Earth.
Pfizer COVID vaccine. We are investigating the death of a South Florida doctor who passed away 2 weeks after getting his shot.
Support chosen private businesses with public funds for sustainable development. Make policy decisions that favor the greater good over individuals.
Then you've got all the yellow bits, buffer zones, highly regulated use. And normal use are just the green bits. Look at it across America, 300 odd million people. And the idea is to make vast areas of land, ban it from human use and human activity on the basis of saving the environment, when what it is taking it all over for the less than 1%.
We could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Just a little over 2 weeks after getting a COVID-19 vaccine at Mount Sinai Medical Center. But right now, it is not clear if his death is linked to that shot.
Drastically reduce the use of power, water, and anything else that creates carbon pollution.
Unchecked population growth will overtake food production in less than 50 years, leading to famine and war. This is not conjecture. This is fact.
The first human trials in Europe of a coronavirus vaccine has begun in Oxford in what is a highly significant moment.
Questions arising about the safety of the new Pfizer vaccine. Some elderly people are reportedly dying hours and days after taking it.
But there we see an increase.
Our military is the only answer at this point. There's only one organization that can guarantee that, and that is the United States military.
Use bureaucracies to make sweeping decisions outside of democratic processes. Increase taxes, fees, and regulations.
What they want to do is concentrate the masses in high-rise, ultra tiny boxes where they can be under surveillance 24/7. Now, get the people off the land. And so what they're doing, they're changing the laws and they're making economic changes which make it impossible for those that are not of the elite to stay on the land. And so what they're doing under Agenda 21, and America's the primest example, is they're just not funding rural communities.
One way or another, our world is coming to an end. And the question is, will we end with it?
Highly anticipated CCP virus vaccine is rolling out internationally. But a few reports of elders dying either hours or days after getting the vaccine are raising questions about the Pfizer vaccine's safety. In Sweden,
this train right there hauling dozens of tanks. Yep, military tanks right through Diamond Bar. You might see it rolling through Southern California this evening. The Navy base, Point Magoo says, has nothing to do with the coronavirus.
They're not funding rural schools, they're not mending rural roads to make life impossible, to get people off the land. Now this is a big area where people get scammed because they don't think that is possible, manipulating the weather to create extremes of weather to get people into situations that remove them from the land.
What do you propose?
I propose that we end the world, but on our terms.
An 85-year-old man with pre-existing conditions died of a heart attack a day after getting the shot. In Israel, 2 elderly men died within 2 hours of getting it. And in Switzerland, a 91-year-old man died 5 days after getting vaccinated.
To stop future pandemics quickly, we need to be able to spot disease outbreaks as soon as they happen anywhere in the world. And that requires a global alert system. If there turns out to be some new infectious pathogen.
It's just the routine moving of military equipment around the country.
But actually, Dr. Richard Day was actually a weather manipulator during the Second World War. People say it's not possible. Of course it's possible. It's happening. It goes way back. Even a BBC radio documentary exposed a few years ago about the Lynmouth flood in 1952, which killed people and devastated that village in Devon, was actually created by the RAF, who were doing an operation called Operation Cumulus, also known as Operation Witch Doctor, in which they were putting sulfur into the atmosphere above this, in this area. And actually people before the massive flood say they kind of tasted and smelled sulfur in the air. And what it did was create an enormous rainstorm.
An orchestrated apocalypse. One that will cleanse the earth of its population but leave its infrastructure and resources intact. It's been done once before.
This afternoon, 2 volunteers, both scientists, were injected. They're the first of more than 800 adults aged between 18 and 55 who've been recruited for the study.
Which created the flood, which created the Lynmouth disaster. This is 1996, an official US Air Force document. describing the artificial creation of floods, hurricanes, droughts, and earthquakes. And it continues, weather modification will become a part of domestic and international security and can be done unilaterally. It could have offensive or defensive applications and even be used for deterrence purposes. The ability to generate precipitation, fog, and storms on Earth or to modify space weather and the production of artificial weather are all part of an integrated set of military technologies.
Great success. The chosen few will ride out the storm, not in an ark as in the book of Genesis, but in safety, underground.
Half the group will receive the COVID-19 vaccine, and half will get a control vaccine which protects against meningitis. The results won't be known for months.
And finally, implement policies meant to incentivize a reduced population.
And when it's over, we will emerge onto a cleansed earth. We can then reboot once.
They are manipulating the weather like crazy. This is Agenda 21, human settlement zones. As you saw.
In our image.
And just how do you intend to achieve this?
The means of our salvation are already at hand.
Then we need a group of infectious disease responders to spring into action. Think of these as like pandemic firefighters. They're going to use their logistics, use their ability to build up capacity quickly. They're going to go wherever that problem is. Stopping the next pandemic will require a big investment. But I think of this as the best insurance policy the world could buy.
I give to you the T-virus.
Here, at least it's deliberately.
Controlling our every impact on the environment means controlling every aspect of our lives. What we eat, how we travel, where we live, how we live. But no is still an option.